Honestly speaking, leadership has failed us in this nation. Leadership has failed us in this country. Anyway, I'd like you to listen to what P2B said here and hear his analysis. In fact, you won't doubt but believe his figures and quotes. And truly speaking, the major problem of Nigeria is leadership. The moment we get the right leaders in place, the beginning of our success, of our rising, of our getting back our nation, and getting back the mantle of being the giant of Africa. Watch this video, I'll be right back.
Our country is passing through a very difficult phase. This used to be a great country. Today, our country is classified among the failing countries of the world. We are now among 10 of the failing countries of the world. We're now classified as one of the most terrorized countries in the world. In fact, we're number 3 or number 4 after Afghanistan, Yemen, and the way it's going, we might soon overtake them. We are the world capital of poverty. Even before the COVID, Nigeria, a country of 200 million, had more people living in poverty than the 2 biggest countries of the world combined, China and India, that is about 2.8 billion. For 200 million, we have more people living in poverty than 2 of them combined before COVID. So you can imagine what it is after COVID. We have one of the highest unemployment rates in the world today. At 33%, which is the unemployment. By the time you combine the underemployment, we're about 55. And worse still, we have about 60% of these are the young ones who are the greatest assets of production and in their productive age, doing nothing. Out of school children, you're the highest in the world. Over 15 million. Forget about what anybody is telling you. Infant mortality today, we've just overtaken India, which they thought would overtake them in 5 years' time. We've just overtaken them. In a stress level, we are now 148 over 152. Nigerians are stressed. Competitiveness, we're going down. Of course, you've seen perception, corruption, we're going down. You can go on, the list is endless. The hunger list now, we're number 98 out of 105. Nigerians have been classified as a country now where people spend over 100% of their wage, salary on feeding. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't, and it's getting worse. And anybody who thinks it's going to get better, forget it. This is cumulative effect of leadership failure over the years. Because we're choosing not to do the right thing. And people will tell you, when they was talking about somebody who is granting loan and everything. There's nothing wrong with loan. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm a businessman. I'm a trader. That is my background. You live with loan. Loan is what has made nations. Every nation in the world is owing. Even Norway, they have the highest sovereign wealth fund of 1.4 trillion, is owing over 50% of their GDP in debt. So there's nothing wrong with loan. It's what you throw the loan at, what you use the loan, that makes all the difference. And I'll show you countries that have borrowed. But we have a crisis because we're throwing away the money we're borrowing, it's not getting to a stage where we can't even service the loan. You approve it, you know the budget and everything. Last year alone in 2021, in the first 5 months of last year, as a nation we earned 1.1 trillion 847 billion naira. We used 1 trillion 802 to service debts. remaining 45 billion for a nation of 200 million people. In a short while, we will not be using 98% of our revenue to service debt. We will need to borrow, which is what we are doing now, to service debt. And you're not generating revenue. And you often hear government people say, we don't have a borrowing problem. We have a revenue problem. You can't generate revenue when your people are poor. You're not going to tax poor people who are in the village doing nothing. Revenue is the function of productivity. The country is not productive. So you can't generate money. For me, my appeal is that 2023 is not about making the next person president or anything. It is about all of us fighting for our future. You're on top of the ladder. If this country collapses today, it will affect you more than it will affect those who will think that I belong. And it's collapsing. None of you can live here and go anywhere and be street sweepers. You can't. So we need to defend it. We need to do it. It happened to other nations. Other nations have removed their country from consumption to production. It's happened everywhere. Pulling people out of poverty has happened everywhere. I've been to at least over 30 countries that have pulled their people out of poverty. I just came back from Morocco. And I told Okupe an interesting news this evening. I said, let me tell you, here, people spend dollar. But I went to Morocco. I came back on Friday. I bought BTA. They put it in my card. And I got to Morocco and said, I want $1 cash for it. They said, no, you use our currency. I was just telling him, no other country does that. Where you spend another person's currency in your own country. That shows the erosion of trust of your own economy. China. And I was telling him, say, you can't do it. I've been going to China, I've been everywhere. This country was a signatory to MDG in year 2000. China was a signatory to MDG. In 15 years, they put 435 million people out of poverty. China in 1990 had 95% of their population living under poverty. Today they have less than 2%. So is Vietnam. They had about 90-something% living in poverty. Today they have 1.6. So is Bangladesh. They're going down. We talked about loan. Approve the loan. But what is the loan being used for? I was in Bangladesh in 2010. And I studied what they used to borrow money and everything. Bangladesh, as 2010, had a debt. The economy then was $115 billion with a debt of $45 billion, which is 36% of their debt. Their per capita was just about 708, about $700 in 2010. As at that time, Nigerian GDP was 375. Our per capita was $2,250. And our debt then was under $8 billion. Today, we were owing about the same thing today. Our debt has moved. So in the past 10 years, we've lost 10% of our per capita. And we've borrowed about 7 to 10 times the amount we were owing then. So something is wrong. We threw away the money. It wasn't invested. It's not productive. It didn't help anybody. Bangladesh, today, have moved to a GDP of $335 billion with a per capita of $2,050. So they have moved 3 times their per capita. It's getting better. They're pulling people out of poverty. Go and check what they've been able to do over these years. And that's what I'm just pleading with you. Can we build a better Nigeria? It's not about politics. It's not about who becomes president or who becomes governor, who becomes this. We can make this country better. It can work. I'm a private businessman. You can check my background as a trader. I've been in the corporate world. I've been a chairman and director of several quoted companies in Nigeria. I've been a governor. And I can tell you, I've managed resources. And I know that this country, if properly managed, can turn around in 10 years and be on the path of growth. It's a great country. It has all it takes. All we need is to invest our resources in the right places, cut the cost and waste. That is
all right, so somebody will say this man has started quoting figures again. This was exactly what he did in 2023. He was quoting figures and all of those things. Well, I think the best thing to do is to fact check him. If he's actually lying or quoting figures that are not real, at least that is where you can now start, accusing him of. This man is up to date. He understands the economy. He has studied it, even more than many professors of economy in this country. For example, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, the governor of Anambra State. This man has studied the country very well. He has been, among the seat of governance, and he knows what it takes to, to pull this country from consumption to production, just like he has always been preaching. You see, like I will always say, that bad leadership is one of the things that has eaten deep into this nation, and that is why we will never grow. And not until we get our leadership right, we will remain at this point where we are. Let us take I know it will be very, very difficult, and that is why every politicians are fighting P2B. You see, because everything will start from the head. I will tell you that when the head is not corrupt, it becomes difficult for other part of the body, to be corrupted. It becomes kind of difficult because, arranging other part of the bodies that are corrupt becomes a bit more easier than when the head is corrupt. There is nothing you can do about other part of the body that is corrupt. So that is exactly the point. Leadership is our problem. Share your opinion.